There was a grand parade the following day to publicly recognize the newfound alliance of the Naboo and Gungan peoples, to celebrate their hard-fought victory over the Trade Federation invaders, and to honor those who had fought to secure the planet's freedom. Crowds lined the streets of Theed as columns of Gungan warriors astride Kadu and Naboo soldiers aboard speeders rode through the city to the sounds of cheering and singing. Famba lumbered down the avenues, draped in rich silks and embroidered harnesses, heads weaving from side to side on long necks. Here and there a captured Federation tank hovered amidst the marchers, Naboo and Gungan flags flying from cannons and hatchways. Jar Jar Binks and General Seal led the Gungans, both riding their Kadu, Jar Jar managing to stay aboard this time for the entire parade, though he looked to those in attendance to be having a bit of trouble doing so. Captain Panaka and the Queen's Own guards stood at the top of the stone steps in the central plaza, watching the parade approach. Panaka's uniform was creased, medal insignia on his epaulets gleaming, proud and strong. Anakin Skywalker stood with Obi-Wan Kenobi near the Queen. He was feeling out of place and embarrassed. He thought the parade wonderful, and he appreciated being honored with the others, but his mind was elsewhere. It was with Qui-Gon, gone back into the Force. It was with Padme, who had barely spoken to him since he had been accepted for training by the Jedi Council. It was with his home, to which he might never return. It was with his mother, whom he wished could see him now. He wore the clothing of a Jedi Padawan, his hair cut short in the Padawan style, a student in training to become a Knight of the Order. He had achieved all that he had hoped in coming with Qui-Gon to Coruscant, and beyond. He should have been happy and satisfied, and he was. But his happiness and satisfaction were clouded by the sadness he could not banish at losing Qui-Gon and his mother both. They were lost to him in different ways, to be sure, but they were gone out of his life. Qui-Gon had provided the stability he required to leave his mother behind. With the Jedi Master's death, Anakin was left adrift. There was no one who could give him the grounding that Qui-Gon had provided. Not Obi-Wan, not even Padme. One day, perhaps. One day, each of them would play a part in his life that would change him forever. He could sense that. But for now, when it mattered most, he felt all alone. So he smiled, but he was sick in spirit and lost in his heart. Perhaps sensing his discomfort, Obi-Wan reached over to put a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "It's the beginning of a new life for you, Anakin," he ventured. The boy smiled back dutifully, but said nothing. Obi-Wan looked off at the crowds in front of them. Qui-Gon always disdained celebrations, but he understood the need for them as well. I wonder what he would have made of this one. Anakin shrugged. The Jedi smiled. He would have been proud to see you a part of it. The boy looked at him. "Do you think so?" "I do. Your mother would be proud of you as well." Anakin's mouth tightened, and he looked away. "I wish she was here. I miss her." The Jedi's hand tightened on his shoulder. "One day you will see her again, but when you do, you will be a Jedi Knight." The parade wound through the central plaza to where the Queen and her guests viewed the procession. She stood with her handmaidens, Governor C.O. Bibble, Supreme Chancellor Palpatine, Boss Nass of the Gungans, and the 12 members of the Jedi Council. R2-D2 occupied a space just below the handmaidens and next to Anakin and Obi-Wan, domed head swiveling from side to side, lights blinking as his sensors took everything in. R2 beeped at the boy, and Anakin touched the little droid's shell gently. Boss Nass stepped forward and held the globe of peace high over his head. "This grand party!" an exuberant Jar Jar shouted above the noise of cheering and clapping. "Gungans and Naboo, they be friends forever, hey?" His enthusiasm made Anakin smile in spite of himself. The Gungan was dancing up and down, long ears flapping, gangly limbs twisting this way and that as he mounted the steps. Jar Jar would never let the bad things in life get him down, the boy thought. Maybe there was a lesson to be learned in that. "We bombard heroes, Ani!" Jar Jar laughed, lifting his arms over his head and showing all his teeth. The boy laughed. He guessed maybe they were. On the broad avenue below, in a long, colorful ribbon of life, the parade that had carried them to this place and time continued on.